Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. If you'd like to have a topic discussed, let me know in the comments section or email me at ladyboulay8596@aol.com. Well, we are still in Black History Month. In today's video, I want to introduce to some and maybe present to others a very important genius. This is one of those hidden figures that we don't hear about, but the work that he did impacts our lives every single day, all day long. He is always with us. We just need to know who he is. If you don't know, you're in for a treat. Nobody wants to live in the world today without electric lights, so the world deserves to know who's responsible for this great invention. The handsome young man on the screen is named Louis Latimer. Louis Latimer is responsible for the invention of the electric light. Now, what they will tell you if you Google him is that he improved on the invention made by Thomas Edison. But Louis Latimer invented an electric lamp with a carbon filament that gave it light. This was the invention of light. The carbon filament gave the lamp light. But because he was born in 1848 during the slavery days in the United States, and the United States Patent Office has never been a friend of African Americans, they will say that Louis Latimer improved on Thomas Edison's invention. Draw your own conclusion. There is such a thing as stealing intellectual property, and African Americans have been victims of that time and time again. Louis Latimer was born in Chelsea, Massachusetts in 1848. The family escaped from slavery in Virginia in 1852 and moved to Chelsea, Massachusetts, which was a free state. The United States Congress had passed the Fugitive Slave Act in 1850, which meant that even though you escaped from slavery into a free state, you were still at risk of being captured and being forced back into slavery. So the family had to go underground for quite some time, and this placed a lot of hardship on the Latimer family. Fearing that he would be captured and sent back into slavery, Louis Latimer's father abandoned his family. So at a very early age, Louis had to help his mother support himself and his three younger siblings. In 1864, at the age of 15, he joined the United States Navy during the Civil War, and he served honorably until the war ended in 1865. He returned to Boston in 1865 and took a position as an office assistant with a patent law firm. He taught himself mechanical drawing and drafting, and in time, he became the head drafter at the law firm. During this time, he also married Mary Wilson, and the couple had 2 daughters. This is where it gets serious with Louis Latimer. In 1874, while he was at this patent law firm, he co-invented an improvement to the bathroom compartment of trains. 2 years later, he was sought out as a drafter by an instructor of children who were hard of hearing. The man wanted drawings for a patent application on a device he had created. The instructor was Alexander Graham Bell, and the device was the telephone. Now, this is the criticism that everybody who listens to this tale has. Alexander Graham Bell needed Louis Latimer to draw up the plans, more or less, for the telephone. Now, if it's your invention, why would you need somebody else to draw up the plans for? Matter of fact, another person couldn't do it. Another person couldn't do it because it's your invention. In 1880, after relocating to Bridgeport, Connecticut, Louis Latimer was hired as assistant manager and drafter for the U.S. Electric Lighting Company. Now, it was here that he discovered the carbon filament that goes in the light bulb. Now, they do a whole lot of tricky talking around this and say he helped somebody else do it or he co-created something, but it was here that he invented the light bulb. Now, this is how we know, even though Thomas Edison gets credit for inventing the light bulb, This is how we know that Louis Latimer is the true inventor of the light bulb. It says that after this electric light bulb was invented, Louis Latimer was sought after to continue to improve on incandescent lighting as well as arc lighting. So why wasn't Thomas Edison sought after to do this? This source says that Louis Latimer was selected to lead several planning teams. These are teams that are installing electric lighting across the country. He helped install the first electric plants in Philadelphia, New York City, and Montreal. He also oversaw the installation of lighting in railroad stations, government buildings, and major thoroughfares in Canada, New England, and London. Furthermore, Louis Latimer was in charge of setting up an incandescent lamp department for the Maxim Western Electric Light Company in London. As part of this role, he supervised the production of his own invention of carbon filaments. Now, Louis Latimer says that he suffered the worst racism that he had ever suffered in London. Louis Latimer was a genius inventor, and he worked with other genius inventors. Whenever somebody wanted something done, they came to Louis Latimer. Now, you really have to think again about the theft of intellectual property, but he did not give up. He continued to invent and make innovations in technology for the rest of his life. Over the years, I've read quite a bit about Louis Latimer, and each time I come away with the belief that this man was a man of intelligence and integrity. What's interesting about Louis Latimer is that everything that he was involved in, they would say he helped to improve something. For instance, the telephone. They say he helped to improve the telephone working with Alexander Graham Bell. In 1894, he created a safety elevator, a vast improvement on existing elevators. So see, there goes that improvement word again. In 1894, he also developed a method for making rooms more hygienic and climate controlled, named an apparatus for cooling. Now, doesn't that sound like an air conditioner to you? So see, but still not giving him full credit. He helped to do something. He came up with the idea, but somehow it got around to him helping to do it. So we celebrate people like Louis Latimer, a genius. America recognizes that. But rather than just say he invented the telephone and Alexander Graham Bell got credit for it, he invented the electric light and Thomas Edison got credit for it, they'll just say he helped them invent it. I mean, you have to ask the question, and it's not even a racist question, it's not even being mean or anything. You just would have to ask the question, why would a white man, or why would two white men or three white men need a black person to help them improve or help them invent something? They wouldn't help him invent something. It would never be said that Alexander Graham Bell or Thomas Edison helped Louis Latimer invent anything. It just wouldn't be said. So why would somebody think that he would do that? He had to present the drawings for the telephone. Now, if you invented a telephone, you could do the blueprint for it yourself. You would not need a black person to do it. And Louis Latimer deserves this day by himself. He was a great inventor. And the thing about him, he didn't give up and walk away and get mad because he didn't get credit and didn't get the money for his inventions. He stayed with it. He worked with influential white men who could get those inventions off the ground. They got the credit and the money for it, true enough. But eventually the truth comes to the light. And for that alone, he should be celebrated for his unselfishness and for his willingness to give up ownership of something that he knew he deserved. But because he knew what it would do for all of mankind, he let the inventions go forth. So he didn't pout like some did. Some did, but he didn't. He stayed with the game. He educated his children, and he was a decent and upstanding American citizen. And this is why we celebrate him. This is what's written of Lewis Latimer. Despite racism and discrimination, and with unequal access to education and opportunity, he played a major role in the development of two products that greatly impacted the lives of Americans: the light bulb and the telephone. The fact that he was a Black American born in the 19th century made his many successes even more impressive. This is an inspiring story of a very extraordinary man. So from now on, when you flip a switch and the lights come on, remember Lewis Latimer. Whenever your phone rings or you get a text, because we had to have the first telephone before we could get the second one, remember Lewis Latimer, a Black man. And this is why we celebrate Black History Month. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share the video, and as always, have a great day.